You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
This month marks Bioshock's 10th anniversary. Kind of weird considering that the collection came out last year instead of this year when it should be celebrating the whole thing. Either way, we got the whole thing a year early, and diving back into it was so great last year, and I decided to record footage last year and a little bit this year to kind of have my mind fresh in Bioshock in both 2016 and 2017 in the year of our Lord, the 10th anniversary. Anyway, so the first game takes place in this underwater city of Rapture. You are Jack, you are kind of on a plane ride, and you're kind of sent on a quest, and your plane crashes just before you get to this lighthouse kind of structure, and then you go inside and you take this bathysphere down to this huge underwater city of Rapture, and you find out that things went wrong. All the civilians kind of went crazy. They're wearing weird masks, they're all bloody, they have like super mutant powers that you get as well, like fire abilities and ice abilities. It is kind of like Resident Evil in that you're exploring this cool area, not a mansion but an actual city, and you're trying to uncover what went wrong and see where Andrew Ryan is, basically the guy who built Rapture, and see some of his like scouts and generals, not really generals, but some of his top men, what they went crazy and they took certain parts of the city and made it their own. And there's kind of a big twist in there, which after the twist it kind of goes downhill, and the very end boss is very, very weird, but it's still a really great game, just so immersive, just very spooky, just very surreal. And the second game, I think, is a better game in terms of gameplay, where you can actually have things in your left and right hand. Dual wielding is always cooler, especially because you can have a spell in one hand and a gun in another hand. Just remind me of Skyrim. I think that was like the biggest dual wielding game. Actually, no, because I don't know what the timeline is. Anyway, I love dual wielding games. Very, very cool. A lot of flack kind of went down to it because it kind of just retread a lot of the same things. You're going about the same city in different locations, essentially, different time period. The ending is kind of a little bit more, well, there's more of a story of heart. There's actually like a salvation for your character as you play as this big daddy trying to rescue these little sisters, which I never mentioned before, but the little sisters have this power, this Eve or Adam, and you harvest them to make your powers greater, which is really weird that they have these little girls have power in them, which is a very weird thing. Altogether, Bioshock is just a weird series, both 1 and 2. And again, it's less fresh than the first one, but gameplay is better, so it's a plus for me. And I do like the story, both in terms of different ideologies and what they're trying to portray, essentially. Now, I can't decide what my favorite game in the trilogy is, but I really do like Infinite as well, and I know after the game came out, people loved it, and then after the fact, people were like, kind of hemming and hawing, like, is this game really as good as it was? But I love it. The same exact feeling where you are transported into this new area. It's an actual lighthouse. Instead of going under, you go above in this weird archipelago of, like, floating islands. There's just nothing like it. Like, exploring new ways that we can never see in real life. Well, you know, maybe some people listen to this way in the future, maybe they'll be like, that guy had no idea that we're going to be in Flying Cities or Underwater series. But really, I mean, it's kind of baffling to think about. But, I mean, you can go to so many places. You can go to, you know, Assassin's Creed is great because you can go back to that time periods and through all of them, like going to ancient Rome and stuff like that. And you can go to those cities nowadays, and it's still cool, but being able to see the lens of history through a video game is very special because of the exploration. And that same thing goes with mythical things like a floating city. Anyway, Booker DeWitt, you are sent to basically retrieve this girl, and a lot of stuff goes wrong, and the citizens aren't crazy. They're more like they're sicking them on you because there's a tyrant trying to essentially get this girl, and you're trying to get the girl, and you're trying to figure out why there's weird powers involved as well. She has like time magic, which in the pre-trailers before the game came out, they seemed to play up the whole time aesthetic, and they kind of went away from that in the actual game, which is disappointing, but there's still a lot of really cool moments in there. I think the game stretches a little bit too long. In the last very couple boss battle-y things, or like basically horde modes. There's actually a lot of horde mode-y things in this game, but a really cool traversal. There's nothing like these games, really. I mean, again, the exploration, just the feeling. This one doesn't have the spooky feeling that the first one did because it's actually populated by things, but you do have the charismatic nature between yourself and Elizabeth, trying to figure out each other, and there's some big twist in the game as well. Just like the first game, the first Bioshock, the twist is kind of weird and puts people off, and I actually like some of the twists that they go through in here, but a lot of it in terms of the narrative they're trying to tell, which, you know, it's not that much of a spoiler to talk about time travel, as, you know, Emily definitely has those powers, so it's, you know, it's plain to see, even before getting into the game, that you would assume there'd be some kind of time travel in the game, but it's more like a parallel universe kind of thing happening. Again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't played these games, but if you haven't picked up the Bioshock collection, it's so cheap nowadays. I don't know what the future of the series stems for. I assume at some point we'll get maybe some kind of sequel spin-off, since 2K does own the rights. I mean, Irrational is not around anymore, so they won't be able to have that masterful vision. But it would be cool to see a new kind of Rapture or Columbia, essentially, which is the sky place. I never mentioned that. But yeah, I don't know where else they could go. They could go in the Earth, like an Earth place, but how cool would an Earth place be? I guess it was like a lava Earth place. That would be kind of interesting. Or maybe they go to Hell Sphere? I don't know. Heaven Sphere? Yeah, very cool concepts. That's why I love the Bioshock franchise. And I guess I've ranted long enough. So again, happy 10th anniversary to Bioshock. Hopefully we'll see you at some point.
I never find that as satisfying as I'd imagined.
Chin up, there's always next time.
I suppose there is.
Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tom Mops, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course you should support me on Patreon because hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching and I will see you all next time.